Are we truly alone in the galaxy? Or have we been repeating one of humanity's biggest space myths simply because the silence feels safer than the truth? For decades, movies, late-night theories, and even real scientific discoveries have pushed us to imagine a universe filled with advanced alien civilizations, or a completely empty cosmos where we re a strange cosmic accident. The logic sounds convincing. With hundreds of billions of stars, there must be countless alien worlds, bustling societies, and signals waiting to be found. And as astronomy reveals more planets many in the habitable zone, that intuition only grows stronger. No wonder people look up at the night sky and say, "The universe is too big for us to be the only ones." But what if that belief is hiding a far more surprising truth, one most people never hear? Here's where things get wild. When scientists try to translate that gut feeling of "we can't be alone" into actual numbers, they use the Drake equation, a kind of cosmic scorecard that multiplies together everything from how often stars form to how many planets could host life to how many of those worlds might eventually produce beings smart enough to build radios. And depending on what numbers you plug in, the answers swing from "we read the lone weirdos in the galaxy" to "there should be thousands of advanced civilizations lighting this place up right now." That massive range isn't some flaw, it's the point. The equation doesn't give us certainty. It shows us how much we still don't know, how often life begins, how often intelligence evolves, and how long a technological species actually survives. So why do people cling to the idea that the galaxy must be packed with neighbors already? Part of it is psychological. Humans hate loneliness. So our legends, conspiracy theories, and sci-fi blockbusters tell a comforting story of a crowded universe. And then came the exoplanet boom. Telescopes like Kepler discovered thousands of planets and revealed that small rocky worlds in the habitable zone are common. From there, the headlines practically wrote themselves. Earth-like planets everywhere, so aliens must be everywhere too. It's an irresistible story, but it quietly skips all the hardest steps between a warm ocean and a thinking mind. And then researchers hit a shocking result. When they updated the Drake equation with modern exoplanet data, they found something astonishing. If life can arise easily on habitable planets, then it's wildly unlikely that Earth is the only world in the observable universe that ever produced a technological species. In other words, unless the chance of intelligence is basically zero, then somewhere, at some point in cosmic history, other civilizations almost certainly existed. That sounds like a slam dunk for the crowded galaxy idea. But this is where most people stop listening and miss the twist that turns everything upside down. That twist is the Fermi paradox. It asks a brutally simple question. If intelligent life is common, where is everybody? Our galaxy is so old that a spacefaring civilization could spread across it in a tiny fraction of its lifetime. Even if only a handful of stars grew advanced species, we should expect to see something giant: engineering projects, strange signatures in starlight, artificial radio signals. Yet after decades of searching, including massive listening campaigns by SETI, we found nothing confirmed. The paradox is like stepping into a city built for billions and hearing only silence. But here, said part almost everyone gets wrong. The Fermi paradox doesn't prove we re alone. It only proves that giant, noisy, galaxy-spanning civilizations aren't hanging out in our neighborhood right now. There are countless ways the universe could hold other minds without revealing them to us. Maybe intelligent life is rare, but not unique. Maybe civilizations tend to burn out with their own technology before spreading far. Maybe they hide on purpose, switching to tight, efficient communication that looks like static to our detectors. Maybe they retreat into virtual worlds, so compelling they have no reason to build giant structures in space. None of these possibilities give us a simple, satisfying answer. But they all remind us of one thing. Our imagination is shaped by our own tiny human story, not by the full physics, biology, or culture of every possible mind in the universe. At this point, you might feel stuck between two extremes: statistics that suggest life could be widespread, and silence that makes it feel like we are screaming into the void. Here's where it gets interesting again. The real counterintuitive truth may be that the most important unknown is not how many habitable planets exist, but how often life crosses a series of bottlenecks, forming it all, becoming complex, developing intelligence, mastering technology, and surviving its own power long enough to reach the stars. This idea is sometimes called the Great Filter, and it could be behind us, ahead of us, or split into many smaller filters. If it is behind us, then life is rare, and we are incredibly lucky survivors. Perhaps one of the few intelligent species to ever get this far. If it is ahead, then many civilizations may start, but almost none navigate the dangers of advanced technology, environmental damage, or self-destruction for long. Now this is where researchers were stunned once more. When scientists combine modern exoplanet statistics with reasonable assumptions about how often technology might arise, they find that for Earth to be truly unique in the entire Milky Way, the probability of any given habitable planet ever developing a technological civilization would have to be unbelievably tiny, so tiny that many experts consider that scenario very unlikely. That does not prove anyone else exists, but it suggests that the "we are absolutely, mathematically alone" version of the myth is probably not correct. The universe does not owe us a neat answer, but it strongly hints that reality is more nuanced. Here's the deeper twist that gives this story its second wind. The question, "Are we alone in the galaxy?" might be the wrong question. The better question is, are we currently sharing this galaxy with other civilizations we can actually detect? The answer to that, as far as real science goes today, is simply, we do not know yet. Our searches have mostly focused on a tiny slice of possible signals over a tiny fraction of the sky, for a tiny amount of time, using technology that might look primitive to any truly advanced species. In terms of cosmic time, we have been listening for a heartbeat. Our own radio bubble has had just about a century to expand, which means most of the galaxy has never even had a chance to hear from us. So when this educational video leans into myth-busting and debunking myths about alien life, the surprising truth is this. The popular myth that the galaxy is either crowded with obvious talkative aliens or completely empty is a false choice. The evidence from exoplanets, the logic behind the Drake equation, and the strange silence of the Fermi paradox together paint a different picture. We live in a galaxy that likely has many worlds where life could exist, maybe even where life has existed, but we have not yet found clear, unambiguous proof of anyone else. That tension between high possibility and zero confirmation is not a failure of science. It is exactly what makes this one of the greatest open questions in all of astronomy. The unexpected, emotionally resonant truth is that right now, in this moment, humanity might be one of the first technological civilizations in the Milky Way to become aware of the mystery at all. That is both lonely and incredibly empowering. It means that what we do next, how we treat our own planet, how we handle our tools and our knowledge, could decide whether we become part of the galaxy's hidden history or one more vanished whisper no one ever hears. Real science, explained simply, does not give us a dramatic UFO reveal or a comforting guarantee of future contact. Instead, it gives us responsibility, curiosity, and a universe full of unanswered questions. So, are we alone in the galaxy? The honest, myth-busting answer is that we are probably not as special as the only one myth suggests, but we might be far more fragile and early than we realize. That makes our brief window under these stars feel more precious, not less. What myth should I break down next?